So, the big question is this: how are entrepreneurs and real estate investors like us, ones who want to grow our businesses and who are tired of paying for really expensive alternative lending? How do we tap into the most inexpensive money available and do it without the hassle of typical borrowing? That is the question, and this podcast will give you the answers. I'm Merrill Chandler, and welcome to the Are You Effable podcast. Welcome, everybody. Merrill Chandler, Brad Burnett here, the Are You Effable podcast. In this episode, we're going to be talking about the evils of the Paydex score. We've talked about this before, but hey, let's not get ahead of ourselves. We'll be right back. All right, so Paydex. What is Paydex? What is that all about? And why do we call it the evils of Paydex, especially since our little trip to FICO and now the things that we know that I wasn't even aware of, Brad?
Yeah, well, so the Dun and Bradstreet Paydex score, we laughingly, jokingly say the evils of Paydex because it's a dinosaur, right? It's the archaic system that is evilly
You're right.
still being used and promoted by a lot of companies, and it's the score where it's the early modeling of business scoring, right?
Right.
And the only thing it scores is, do you pay your bills on time?
Correct. And any bills, not credit accounts, creditors like the tier 1, tier 2 banks, right? Even tier 3 banks like community banks that have business credit cards, credit lines, things like that. They don't report to Paydex. Paydex. Let's go back kind of in time what Paydex was and have you guys recognize where this all came from. So in the 70s and 80s, Dun & Bradstreet had been collecting data for till then, even a few years, but collecting business data. But the business data was became more of a self-reporting process, right? Their big pitch out in the world, was, hey, have your business be represented so that other businesses can check you out. And the way you do that is that you rat yourself out. Give us a list, pay us anywhere between $5, even $1,500, and you give us a list of the people who you use, like your cell phone bill, your water bill,
merchant accounts,
all that stuff.
If you're a plumber, you go to the plumbing supply store, and
right.
so you're going to have the plumbing supply store as one of your
real estate investors would be like your carpet suppliers. Those are all vendor trade lines, right? You would then put all those on a list. You would send it to your rep at Paydex. They would call them once and say, yes, does Credit Sense pay this bill on time? And the person would say, yes, they do, right? Now, like someone's going to turn in an app or turn in a creditor or a vendor who they don't pay on time, right? They're not.
You would think.
You would think, right? So it was. The reason why it's not trustworthy is it's not objective. The person who's looking, the business owner who's looking to get reported positively, so other lenders or tradespersons, vendors can look them up. They're the ones. You're reporting yourself. So does Credit Sense pay this bill on time? Oh, yes, they do. And they'd go down this list. There were packages that had 6 and 12 and even 24 or 18 creditors. And so most of it was all trades and your cell phone bills, all those things, right? Now, we say this all the time, and you're going to hear it 100 other times, but we talk about is Chase Business going to give you a $50,000 business line of credit, even a $50,000 business credit card on your carpet vendor payment history? It's not going to happen, right? So this whole structure was Dun & Bradstreet's way of they created their own. We'll get into it later, but they created their own blue ocean and created a market for themselves, yes, right? They created their own market, fulfilled the need. Oh, you need a business reputation, and then it began to promulgate from there.
Or evolve from there.
Yeah.
Either one.
Right. Pick a word. So the problem is it became institutionalized. This
right.
process.
As it evolved.
Yeah. As it evolved,
right.
it became institutionalized. You do anything, stay in the market for 10, 20, 30 years, all of a sudden it becomes a name. And they did have a reputation for collecting business data. So they would go to Chamber of Commerce's, they'd go to other locations to find more businesses just to say, hey, we have 60,000 businesses. We have 220,000 businesses.
And as they were doing that, those businesses started reporting directly to them.
Yeah, but they were not the tier 1, 2, and 3 banks, right? They began to build relationships and like Uline Credit, right?
Yes.
Uline, you get their catalogs, right? I've called them how many times to stop wasting all of those trees on
paper,
me,
right?
Right? So Uline catalogs, Federal Express accounts.
Now there's and we're going to come back to this in a second, but there's a real reason that's not diabolical, but is completely a waste of time on why Uline keeps popping up and why you will continue to get any type of publication or their catalog from them. But we'll come back to that.
Okay,
so it's
perfect. Okay, make sure we come back because now I want to know.
Yeah.
Now I'm curious because every single way, every version of my PC ID, everything, I keep deleting myself, calling that catalog company up, and I still keep getting them. But the bottom line is that they've Dun & Bradstreet has become institutionalized, so much so that when we were back at FICO World, the first one, FICO World 16, we went and met with the reps for them, and we'll get into that.
We went and met with the Dun & Bradstreet reps because the FICO rep said, please go and talk to these guys and tell them they need to jump light years ahead with the small business scoring system.
Yes, and we will cover that. We will cover that. So the whole point of the Paydex was a scoring system. Now remember, we're not as much bashing on Experian business because they just take some metrics and give you a score, but the score is relatively worthless. No tier 1 through 3 lenders use these business scores as in a decisioning process. Experian
small business,
yeah.
Right? So just so we're clear, there's Experian small business, there's Equifax small business, and Dun & Bradstreet, who all report business credit. But it's evolving, right? I mean, the conversation was, hey, Merrill, business credit right now is where personal credit was in
mid-80s.
Mid-80s.
There and
it's
even
the Wild West.
It is truly the Wild West. So what this episode is especially focused on, guys, is how many individuals that you know, friends, family, or associates that you, in your real estate circles, in your business circles, all the entrepreneurs out there are looking for business credit, and the only people marketing out there are people who are saying, we'll build you a Paydex score because you can get approved for these Paydex scores. And I'm going to have Brad walk us through the tiers. There's like 5 or 7 tiers, right?
Yeah. So these and you guys, I'm not going to pull any punches. Usually, I do not give the name.
Name names. We're naming names
today. We're naming names because the biggest company out there promoting this build your business credit. They don't say I'm going to build your Paydex. They say we're going to build your business credit.
Yeah.
And we're going to get you in a position where you can be, and I just blanked on the word. Non-recourse. Where it's only on your business.
Only on your business. And never on where you're personally guaranteeing it, right?
Right.
And the same thing for these guys is that when you subscribe to their service, they go through this relentlessly tiresome process that ultimately doesn't end up in corporate credit that they promise.
So not only are they being a little bit deceiving, this is where some of the evil comes in.
Yeah, liars, cheaters, and thieves episode right here.
Right? Because they're going to tell you, hey, we're going to build your business credit. They leave out that the type of business credit is going to be an 18-month process. This company, the biggest company out there, is called Credit Suite. I was on the phone with one of the VPs of Credit Suite not even 2 years ago. It's right around that time frame. And he was pushing hard to have us come in and start repping their product because of what we do. And as we went through the conversation, I was holding back my one question that I knew was going to be the question that would just it would sink his ship, because he was feeling pretty good about things. Yeah, oh no, we can absolutely go non-recourse. We can get them in a position where they get credit only in the name of the business. And I said, okay, so you're telling me at the end of your 18-month process, my clients can go out and get an unsecured business credit line in just the name of their business. And he straight up, without even a hesitation, said, oh no. No, they could probably get like a business credit card, like a cash card. They're never going to get a business line of credit. Post 2008, they're going to have to put their name on the line. I was like, yes, I mean, I knew that, but I just wanted to confirm that you were on the same page.
And the thing is the non-recourse, and we haven't verified that. We verify every 90 days, guys, to make sure programs are still in play, et cetera. But you might get they might send you to a Spark, Capital One Spark card they say is just on your business, but it's not.
But it's not.
They may send you to a Chase Inc. or one of the American Express cards, and depending on where their program is, may be only on your business. Some are on your personal. But here's the fascinating thing: even American Express must be personally guaranteed, because they don't trust the business data reporting.
Well, and let's take them back to how we get to that point even, right? So to build your credit, here's how we build this, and it all goes back to the Paydex system. The first thing we need to do is we're going to open up 3 merchant accounts, and these merchant accounts are merchants that will report to Dun & Bradstreet. So Uline every single time comes up. Now, guys, we're a business. We have employees. We don't even need a Uline account because we do not bring in that much in supplies.
Right.
Imagine being just you, and I was sold this bill of goods probably 7 or 8 years ago and didn't know any better because that was still the thing, right?
Yeah.
And
we hadn't moved into business yet, right?
And so I as a single individual running my little consulting company, had a Uline account. And they're like, all right, so you have to have positive reporting every single month for 6 months, which means I have to buy supplies.
Yep.
Traffic every month for 6 months. So I had paper towels stacked up that, I mean, we probably finished using them like a week ago. You know, I had no need for this stuff. It was like being a single person going to Costco and just buying all the bulk stuff.
Yeah, 3 shopping carts full.
Now I'm going to have 8,000 pounds of macaroni and cheese.
Right.
It's the same concept, but you had to do it with 3 different accounts, and they had to all report positively for 6 months. After that 6 months, then you could move to
the second tier.
The second tier, which would be like I almost said TJ Maxx. No, that's a no bueno either. But it would be like an Office Depot or an Office Max is what I was thinking. It'll be a card like that, right? But it's not even their cash card. It's their store credit.
It's
card.
Store credit. You can't go out and go shopping or get gas or buy go to the movies and get points towards that card.
Gas cards.
Yeah,
part of it.
Yeah,
right?
Gas cards are third tier, I think.
Gas cards come in. Well, high end of the second tier and into the third tier are your gas cards. Well, but straight up gas cards, because then you have those corporate accounts that are at, and I can't think of the name.
They call it fleet.
Fleet.
Yeah, fleet. Yes. You have to establish a fleet. So, guy, we're doing this for memory, even though we keep tabs on all the people out there who are not doing right by borrowers who are looking. If you're looking for a gas card and if you want a Dun & Bradstreet Paydex score that's above 80, which is good, it's a B or higher, then use whoever says they can do it. But that's not what we're after.
But that's the other thing, right? 80 Paydex score was the good score. If you had an 80, we can get you credit, right? The 80 just means you pay on time. If you wanted to go to 90, pay it early twice. Like that's the magic.
The complexity.
Right? That's
of
how complex this system is. It's not algorithmic scoring at all, right?
No.
And so then after you go with the fleet, and then you can get your gas cards and do those things, now each of these phases is 6 months. So at the end of 18 months, you could be in a position to go into the next phase, which is where you might, hard exclamation point on the might, full stop.
Yeah.
be able to
asterisk,
get,
lots of
underlined,
notes.
All the highlighting. You might be able to get a business credit card that you can go use for any purchase in just the name of the business.
Right.
Might. Most here, the crazy thing is what Merrill already said. Let's bring it back around, because most of those creditors post 2008, they require a personal guarantor.
Correct.
It has nothing to do
with
Paydex
or your reputation with Paydex. You have to personally guarantee. And we'll cover in a moment why all of this occurs and why FICO is doing this differently, right? But the bottom line, guys, is getting a good Paydex score. We're not dissing on anybody who says, "Hey, I can get you a good Paydex score." I'm saying, what do you want? You want a $20,000, $30,000, $50,000 business credit card, a $20,000, $30,000, $50,000 business credit line, write a check, do a deal.
Like the 75,000 you got, what is 2 weeks ago now?
2 weeks ago now, right?
So another $10,000 card and a $65,000 credit line that he can literally go, oh, hey, I'm going to give you this check to do this deal.
$50,000, exactly. So the bottom line is, for us, we're not talking Paydex. We're talking what type of credit instruments are going to grow your business, grow your entrepreneurial enterprises, right? What is it that you're trying to go after? Because where you end up, or where the money is, depends how to get there. Depends on where you are. So if you want a Paydex score, and we call that Muskogee, Wisconsin, then there's a road to get you there, and there are directions, the 18 months worth of directions to get you there. But if you're headed for New York City, where the business lines of credit, the true commercial lines that reside, that's a different trip, and Paydex is not anywhere near that. There is not a single large tier 1 or tier 2 bank. There may be a few community banks and a few credit unions, local credit unions, that may refer to Paydex, but nobody is giving approval authority from Paydex scores. It's an amalgamation or a mix. It's a mix of your personal profile, your credit score, and SBSS, FICO, which we're going to cover now. FICO then pings these bureaus to check your data, not your payment history. They're checking your data points to make sure they're lending to who they're truly lending to.
Yeah. Well, and to bring up a point that we've talked about in past podcasts, 80% of your business funding approval is based on your personal profile.
Correct.
Like, your borrower profile is the key. It's not about, unless your business is, we've talked about this too.
Yeah.
Unless your business is doing millions, tens of millions a year, and you've got your S&P score.
You have
Standard & Poor's.
Standard & Poor's. When you're, and the last thing I wanted to say about the marketers, the credit suites of the world, they call it corporate credit. Once again, to use language to deceive. They're using language to deceive. And there's small business credit. Every bank, if you're a corporate credit client, you have an S&P credit score. You're in the Standard & Poor's, grading. You don't even have to be a stock company or traded on any of the indexes, but you have to be a player. Those are corporate clients, right? They're not small business clients. You and I, we do really well. We're a small business client. Yep. Right? So when any of these outfits refer to the term corporate credit, if you're seeing corporate credit on a brochure, you are being lied to in your face, because corporate credit is a high level $5 million credit lines, $50 million credit line. That is not the game we play. Now, if you want to get a Standard & Poor's index, and you're watching this and you do have the revenues and the ability to do that, come and talk to us, because that's rarefied air. That's the fun stuff to play in. But our coaching, our students and our clients, we're all small business owners, right? Entrepreneurs.
Yeah.
And we need $1 million credit line. would do most of us for the rest of our lives, because we'd know how to play that game in real estate, in growing our businesses, in buying, selling, whatever it is that you're doing. $500,000 is going to be a game changer.
And Merrill, how many of our clients have come to us and said, yeah, I want that $1 million. I want $1 million in business credit lines so I can do whatever I want. And then they get 100,000, 200,000, and we never hear from them again.
Ever.
Because that all of a sudden they realize, like, oh, I'm doing as many deals as I can.
Yeah, they don't want to grow to 50 deals a year. 5 a quarter is awesome, right? I love that you bring that up. I always think of Noah, right?
Yeah.
So Brad said it spot on. So many of our clients think that $1 million would be the game changer, but you got to remember, these credit lines are renewable resources. Write a check, do a deal, pay it off, do it again and again and again and again. A flip takes 3 months on the short end, 4 to 6 months on the long end, and you turn that $200,000. They don't want to do more business, because at $20,000, $30,000, $50,000 a pop, they're like, you know what? I'm doing pretty well. I want time freedom now, not money freedom.
Yeah, quality of life all of a sudden becomes a real thing.
Yeah, I know. They're like, hold it. Is this what Merrill and Brad talk about when they say quality of life? Because I don't actually have to do this next deal.
Yep.
That's the power. So corporate credit is different. So if you're reading about corporate credit and it's not in the New York Times, I'm not in Forbes.
I do want to just for the sake of all clarity, point one thing out. You are a corporation when you are an LLC, and so it is credit
technically
for your so there. My point of bringing that up, Merrill, is that they are just hanging on the loopholes and swinging back and forth, hoping nobody hits them with a stick to knock them off.
Yeah,
because they know that it is deceiving in the least of
it's a withhold, not a lie.
It's a withhold, not a lie. Yeah.
Yeah. And how many times have you been nailed for a withhold in your relationships?
Yeah. If you're withholding,
it's a lie.
It's a lie.
Yeah.
Bottom line, nobody's gonna feel any differently. About
that. We've been around this block enough to know that that is a universal truth.
Yeah.
So, guys, just so technically, yes, it is a credit for your corporation, but that's like Seed Capital saying credit for your business,
right?
When it's personal.
We can Seed Capital. We can get you business credit, and then they get you personal credit cards and go, oh well, we meant you can use it for your business. No,
guys, you got to know the rules of this game, man. They
try to trip us up on these little technical terms, and so that's why we're here to uncover the BS that is out there and make sure you guys don't stumble on these same things.
Yeah,
in the future.
these are the landmines we're talking about. Every episode that in Are You Effable is about becoming effable, becoming fundable, and the first way to do that is to stop stepping on the landmines, right? So, anything else on Paydex? I just know that people who are building Paydex scores are getting you a score. They're not getting you business lines of credit you can use for your entrepreneurial engagements.
They're building a score that's not going to be of any value.
Let's go back to let's revisit just for a second the FICO. When we went back 2016, now we're in November. We're going to the FICO World 19. So this will be our third one, 3 years, and guys, these guys are taking over the small business credit scoring marketplace. And I prophecy right here, in the next 2 to 3 years, it will be as fastidious in corporate recording, in business lending reporting, as personal is reporting now. And once everybody trusts it, because it's FICO, they will trust the data. And then we just have more inside scoops, because we've been growing with FICO and with the business credit reporting. So we'll be able to coach our students, our clients. We'll bring it here. Can't wait for the podcast right after a FICO World. Right? These are going to be a blast. So
put that on your calendars. November.
Yeah, November. We're out November 11th through the 14th. So podcast right after that.
Hopefully there will be some during it.
Oh no! Oh yeah, I'm totally.
Right.
I'm gonna try. I won't name drop.
Just ambush some people.
Yeah, we want to get some people, at least some interviews, if not full blown podcasts from the people that we've worked with back there. I know Dave will do it. Hopefully Ethan, and maybe we get Will.
Yeah,
Will Lansing,
maybe.
CEO, is the one who pushed this our rock down the hill of FICO.
It would be cool to just hear from his own words where it's headed. Right?
Yeah, that would be
just to share that, because not every he does his State of the Union type address at the event.
Yep.
But he does it to the audience. It's not a publicized thing. So to get some insight like that would be awesome.
Yeah, that would be awesome. So we're working on that. We have a liaison.
Merrill didn't learn how to turn his phone off, so it's gonna keep ringing.
Actually, so there we go. Anything else on our
No, I think
Paydex?
we covered Paydex. Right
Yeah.
now, you understand why we call it the evils of Paydex, because it's really the people that are promoting it that are doing us wrong by the sneaky little language they use to try to trip us up. And
they're building a score, not building your future in
they're not building your fundability.
Yeah, they're not building fundability whatsoever. That's a great way to say that. So, guys, Merrill, Chandler, Brad, Burnett.
See ya.
Are you effable? We will see ya. Hey guys, thank you for listening to Are You Effable? Please leave comments because I would love to read about your aha moments from this episode. And be sure to visit fundinghackers.com to view the blog post, get important links, join our community, and much, much more. And you gotta tell your friends about this podcast. We want them to become effable too.